Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is just a quick video to let you know about, well, not really Age of Empires 4 news, because that's just me using clickbait, but it is important because Microsoft are looking for opinions. They've put out a questionnaire, and I think it's going to shape basically the development of Age of Empires 4. I assume this is market research, and if you're enthusiastic about the game and you like Age of Empires 3 and would like them to take sort of influence from Age 3, you know, put the best bits in there, I hope that's sort of what they do, combine all the best parts of all of the Age of Empires games, really, then definitely fill out the questionnaire. It's like 99% multiple choice, and there's one question that asks you to actually write stuff, and you know how YouTubers go, oh, put in the description if you think this, or I'd like to hear your thoughts. Normally I never ask for that bullshit, but actually today, do put in the description below what your favorite parts of Age of Empires 3 actually are, just so that, you know, people filling out that questionnaire, they can come to the comments and go, oh yeah, that is a good part, because, you know, I did this morning, and it took me a surprisingly long time to actually figure out what I wanted to say, but I boiled it down to 4 different points that I think, you know, having casted a lot of games and played and all of these things that make Age of Empires 3 really interesting, and I think those are pacing. Age of Empires 3 isn't too fast or too slow, right? It's just right. Usually you're clicking up to the Colonial Age at about 3 minutes, and you're up by sort of 5 minutes for sure. And I think Age of Empires 3 has like the best sort of Age 1, because you're just out on the map exploring. It's relatively easy, the macro at the start, but what makes it fun is that sort of really sort of interactive and dynamic scouting. And what I mean by that is you're looking for treasures, you're looking for livestock, you have to decide if you want a trading post, you have to weigh up all these things, and you have to keep tabs on where your opponent is so they can't steal your treasures, and you have to decide which treasures you want to go for, because, you know, you need to be out on the map looking for the good ones. There's a lot of stuff to prioritize or think, and it leads to a really interesting Age 1 where you actually sort of interact with what your opponent is doing, and no Age 1 is the same. I really, really like that. And then you get up to the Colonial Age and Fortress Age, and the game just unravels quickly, right? Like a really good Age of Empires 3 match will be sort of 25 minutes long, and anything longer than that is either exceptional and really close, or played by noobs who don't know what they're doing, and, you know, basically it doesn't take a super long time to play out a game, which makes it really fun to watch. Home city shipments and politicians, I really like this. Every time you send a shipment, it feels like you're shifting gear. 700 wood arrives, and you ramp up into some houses and a barracks and all of these things, and it also gives players like a huge amount of choice and flexibility over to how they want to play the game. It's a bit like, you know, in Age of Empires 2 and the other games, every civ has a civilization bonus. That is true in Age of Empires... Lord Raphael. One of the top 8 for the New World Championship, by the way. Every civ has, like, you know, a few extra percentages at this, that, and the other in Age of Empires 2. But in Age 3, it feels like you're customizing them with the home city shipments. And it also creates for this really interesting game to watch, where you think, every time you get a shipment, the players have to think to themselves, okay, how am I going to play the next few minutes of the game? And each shipment is, like, marking that. Do they send an eco upgrade? Because then you have to drop back and play to that. Or do you send a military shipment because you think it's time to push? Or maybe send some gold and age up? There's all these different decision points that make the game, well, sort of different. It's not like you have one game plan and you stick to it for the whole 40 minutes. You get to do lots of different things over the course of one game, I suppose. And also what I like about Age of Empires 3 is the map control. Age 3 has really, well, much smaller maps on average compared to other games. And this makes, like, where you place your units, villages, and buildings really important, because your opponent can react to that really quickly, and you can react to what your opponent is doing very quickly. And that's what I mean by dynamic. Sometimes it, like, almost feels like chess. You move your units to the trading post, and then they see that, and they go straight to your barracks. Because you're not there to defend it, they siege it down. It's just this, like... It feels like a strategy game, well, obviously, but, you know, there's more to it than just a simple war of attrition where you chuck units into each other until one of you burn out. And the final thing was the Industrial Age. And I think this is important because I love the Industrial Age in Age of Empires 3. I love how factories just chug resources out like crazy, and heavy cannons are insane, and you see all these massive warships. It really is a treat to watch a game when it gets to that point, but I think that's only the case because you don't see it all the time. And I think that's, Age of Empires 3, you don't often see the Industrial Age in a 1v1, but when you do, it's really exciting. And I think there's something you would lose if that happened every single game. But yes, leave your thoughts in the comments below, and do fill out the questionnaire. I think that's important, and I think it will shape the future of Age of Empires 4. At least I assume that's what it's for. But yes, goodbye.